Hey y'all, what is good? My name is Morgan. Welcome to my channel if you're new. Welcome back if you are returning. So today I am going to be making a video on how to break soul ties. So I previously made a video about what soul ties are, how they form, and how having sex with people can impact your energy. And a lot of people are interested in learning how to break those soul ties once they have them. So I did a little bit of research for you all, and I decided to make this video to share with you guys how to break those soul ties that you don't want anymore, and the steps that you can take to do that. So if you don't know what soul ties are, go ahead and watch my other video. I'll link it in the description below. But we're gonna go ahead and get started with how you can break any soul tie that you currently have that you don't want anymore. Okay, I also want to acknowledge that soul ties can exist in relationships that don't include sex. So it can be like a familial relationship or a friendship. Soul ties just happen when you are very, very connected to somebody, and sex enhances a soul tie and kind of creates them a lot faster, but you can have them with people that you aren't sexually intimate with. I just want to put that out there. So it's definitely possible that you have one with somebody that you've never had sex with. I also want to say that soul ties are acknowledged by many beliefs. When I was doing this research, a lot of the websites that popped up were church-based, like religion-based. Like it's prominent in the Christian religion. So depending on what your beliefs are, you may want to do more specific research into what that group of people is saying for how to break these, but I'm gonna do more of like a general one. So number one is actually acknowledging that you have an unhealthy soul tie that you want to get rid of. So some signs that you have one is that you feel drained by a person, you can't forgive them for something that they did to you. You excessively think about them and like want to check up on them, kind of like being obsessed with them, but in a negative way. You feel like you have to walk on eggshells around them and you can't really say certain things because they might blow up on you. You just don't have really good communication. They blame you for their problems. You feel responsible for their happiness. You're dependent on them to be happy. You broke up but you can't move on. All those types of things are signs that you have a soul tie with somebody and that it might be time for you to break that with them. Step one is acknowledge, and step two is pray. So whether you believe in a religious God or you believe in spirit or the universe or whatever, you have to pray and you have to meditate and like ask for help. So soul ties are a spiritual thing, so the journey to break them must also be spiritual. Ask God to help you disconnect from this person, help him distance yourself from them, help maybe you feel less pain, feel less connected to them. Ask the universe to take your mind off them, stuff like that. You kind of have to bring it to another higher power because it's a spiritual bond. It's more than just what our physical bodies can handle. Yes, we have a soul, but a lot of us don't have a lot of, how do I say this? A lot of us aren't in tune with ourselves enough to the point where we can do this necessarily on our own without asking for help, or if we don't ask for help, it'll take a lot longer. So praying and meditating on it and just asking God or asking the universe to kind of help you through this process is going to be a key step as well. A second part of that is that there's also power in confessing. So this comes into more of like a religious aspect. A lot of times soul ties are taught to be negative things that come out of premarital sex. So this is a very religious thing. If you don't believe this, kind of just disacknowledge this section. But if you're a part of religion that looks down upon premarital sex and you agree with that and that resonates with you, going to confession also is something that can help kind of cleanse your mind, ease your mind, and help you take steps forward to ending these soul ties. Number three, cut them off. It ain't none to cut. You cut them off. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to distance yourself sometimes to see things more clearly and kind of see how that person is not good for you. Stop calling them. Stop texting them. Unfollow them on social media. Stop stalking them. Block this person if you have to, if they can't leave you alone. Say no to hanging out. And chances are, if you're in an unhealthy relationship with somebody, they probably know that they're dogging you, or they probably know that their presence in your life isn't a beneficial thing to you. So you doing this and cutting them off is kind of going to let them know like you're finally done with their BS and like they can't treat you that way anymore. If it's an ex or a previous friendship or a family relationship, a really, really important thing is getting rid of stuff that reminds you of them. So deleting pictures, throwing away letters they gave you or notes that you kept during your time together. And this honestly is one of the hardest things to do because a lot of times we hold on to things, to hold on to those memories and to hold on to what we used to have. But I need you to understand, a person doesn't exist in your reality unless they are directly in front of you or you are thinking about them. So by you removing things from your life that remind you of them, you are slowly going to forget about them, weaken the soul tie, eventually break it, and they will eventually move out of your reality because they won't even be in your mind or in your physical reality at all anymore. And again, this can be super hard, especially if you have an extended history with somebody. You know, like things build up. You have a lot of stuff that you've kept over the years, but this is key. And like removing it from your sight completely and not even allowing yourself to see it again is a really big key. It takes a lot of strength to do this. Bottom line though is that you have to realize that it's for your highest good, and this is also a time when you can ask God or ask the universe for some more extra strength because it will be difficult, especially if you are very attached to them. Asking for help is not a bad thing. Even asking friends and family to help you if you can't personally do it yourself. Be like, hey, can you throw these away from me? Hey, da-da-da. Asking for help is going to be necessary in this process. There's a lot of power in letting go, and during this step, letting go is going to be a huge thing, and I think that you'll start to see progress once you're able to do this. A fourth step is forgiving that person and forgiving yourself and really trying to. Holding on to a relationship and all the emotions, especially negative ones, is going to make it very hard for you to move on from this person and really dissolve that soul tie. You don't have to call them and tell them that you forgive them. It can be an internal thing where you acknowledge within yourself that you've forgiven this person, but it does need to happen because if you hold any kind of resentment or any type of grudge against them, like I said, they only exist if they're in front of you or in your mental reality. So the more that you're thinking about them and the more you hold those negative emotions towards them, the longer they're going to stay in your head and the harder it is going to be to break that soul tie. The thing is, you have to forgive yourself, right? So it could have been a relationship when you were younger. It could have been a relationship when you were in a vulnerable time in your life. It could be a relationship that was just lack of judgment, bad decision, didn't see it coming, whatever it is. You have to forgive yourself and let yourself make mistakes and move on from them. If you're constantly, looking down on yourself, kicking yourself because you can't believe that this person did this, or you let this person into your life, or you had sex with that person, you have to forgive yourself and move on, because if you don't, it's all part of self-love. You have to, understand that life is a journey and that we're all going to make mistakes. But at the end of the day, all we can do is try better today, try better tomorrow, and then keep making progress from what we now know versus what we used to know. Know better, do better. And you watching this video is a good step in knowing better and how to move yourself forward to detaching yourself from these negative soul ties. Okay, a side note also about resentment that I want to bring up. Whether you know it or not, our emotions manifest in different ways. So if you're holding on to a lot of resentment, negative emotions and resentment manifest within our own physical bodies. One way this happens is with disease. An example of this is actually in a book that I read. It's right here. It's called Dare to Be Yourself. I highly recommend it. He has amazing stories in here, and it just helped me grow in general. But one of the stories he writes about is a older woman who held a lot of resentment for her sister. So she hadn't spoken to her in over 20 years. And this woman was in the hospital because she was diagnosed with cancer, which was all over different parts of her body. And one day she went to go get some massage therapy in the hospital, and the story came out about why she was so upset with her sister, what happened. And she had a very cleansing moment and cried and just let all of that energy and all that resentment and holding that grudge, she let it all out. And when the doctors did a scan on her body, her cancer was gone. So if this isn't a good example of how resentment can manifest in disease, I don't know what is. So you just have to be pretty aware of how your emotions and your feelings can impact your life in more ways than one. So learning to let go and really forgive is an important step in not only breaking a soul tie, but also for your physical and emotional well-being in general. Okay, so just to recap, step 1 is to acknowledge that you have a soul tie. Step 2 is to pray about it, meditate, ask for help. Step 3 is to cut them off. And step 4 is to forgive them and forgive yourself. Time does heal. Time helps a lot. You know, I've had heartbreak that I thought I was never going to get over. And then, you know, as time goes on, you slowly start to do these things and you see yourself thinking about them less. And then it really is easier to move on and continue in your life in a healthier fashion. In general, though, try to avoid creating negative soul ties. Like I said, sometimes it can happen unexpectedly, or you suddenly realize that a relationship that you have been in is toxic. That's a different story, but just really try to protect your energy and understand that not everyone is deserving of what you have to offer. Not everyone is deserving of your time. Not everyone is deserving to even be in your presence. So just really protect your energy and understand how much other people who come into our lives can impact us, and they can either take or give in positive and negative ways. So just increasing your awareness. And also, I'm gonna finish with this: be patient and be really kind with yourself during this process, especially if it's a really long relationship, a very emotional, and you have a strong attachment to them. It's not gonna be easy. And so be patient and be gentle on yourself if things don't happen right away. It takes time, but life is a journey, and things will get easier as time goes on. That is all for this video. Please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe if you have not at this point. I hope this helps a lot of people. A lot of people are asking about it and commenting about how to break a soul tie. So I hope you guys can take these steps and really bring yourself to a higher point in your life once you're able to cut these bonds off with people. And with that, have a good one, and I will catch y'all later.